So what is web app security? What does it entail? Adekunle Ojete, you can go ahead. Adekunle Ojete, please, you can go ahead. Your hand is
Okay,
up.
hello, sir.
All right, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Okay, pertaining to what you taught us yesterday, introductions to web applications and application
Okay.
security. So, pertaining to what you show us that is the word security in protecting web application from vulnerability that attacker could exploit. So we talk about the common web vulnerability too. An example includes the SQL injection, cross-site scripting, SS and cross-site request forgery.
Mm.
So we talk about the how to preventing SQ injection too, using the PPS statement and input validation to prevent SQ injection. So we
Okay.
talk about the cross-site scripting XS, that is injecting script into the web pages viewed by other viewers. We talk about the types of XSS, that is the number one reflected SSS, stored SSX, then DOM, that is the documents object
Open model. Okay.
model, model, model rather, base SS, and preventing XSS, that is the sanitizing and the validating input to avoid script injection. So the third one, we talk about the cross site request forgery. That is the forcing the users to perform action without their knowledge. How to prevent it using a token to verify request.
Okay.
Request.
All right.
So that's just it.
Thank you very much. You have really done a good job in um, reviewing everything in the reviewing everything that we did yesterday. But I would still like to hear the opinion of other people in the class so that we can be sure that we are all on the same page. So I did a practical yesterday. I showed us a lab work yesterday. I used a particular tool to do a penetration testing on a particular website. What is the tool used? What is the website test? Web app tested. Ajayi Gideon, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
The tool used was OWASP Zap,
OWAP Zap. OWAP Zap. Okay.
and the website was OWASP Juice Shop.
OWAP Juice Shop.
Ju-
Oh,
yes, sir.
good. OWAP Juice Shop. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, then moving forward, we I spoke about OWAPs yesterday, OWAP top 10. What does OWAP mean? What does OWAP mean? What's the full meaning of OWAPs? Okay, Oluwato, sorry, we have Oluwatoni. You can speak, please. Oluwatoni, your hand is up. So I'm expecting you to start talking now. All right. I think his hand was up. Aya Gideon, please go ahead.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
I'm with you, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm with you. I can hear you properly.
Okay, sir. You asked OAPS, Open Web Application Security Project.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
OWASP has top 10 list of likely risk that can be found on a web application. So can you mention three out of them? That's a question to another person, please. Just give us three out of the OWASP list. I believe that it was not. I mean, it was not only okay. Oluwafemi, Rebecca, you can talk now.
Broken access control, components with using components with known vulnerability,
Okay.
insufficient logging and monitoring.
Okay. Yeah. Insufficient logging and monitoring, and the remaining two that you have mentioned. All right. So let's move forward this evening so that we can get one or two things done quickly. All right. Um, I'll be sharing my screen now. So we are starting with an icebreaker, which is the last icebreaker for today, but it's going to be very, very interactive. At least I'll be giving 4 or 5 people the chance to talk, and you cannot. Well, you may have the same answer, but you can't have the same reason. So I believe you can see my screen now. So the icebreaker today is not like the regular that you just Now, if you could eliminate one cybersecurity threat forever, what would it be? So I want you to raise your hand. I mean, we have about 9 of us, I mean 8 of us here. So at least every one of us are going to talk. So I will call you one after the other. Um, Now this is how it's going to go. You are going to tell us the threat that you would like to eliminate forever, and you will tell us why. You will tell us the threat you would like to eliminate forever, and you will tell us why. Why are you choosing that threat above other threats? All right, so who is speaking first? Let me call according to what I have on my screen. Adekunle, please go ahead. Adekunle Ojetoye. Adekunle Ojetoye, please unmute your mic and respond to that icebreaker. If you could eliminate one cybersecurity threat forever, what would it be? Adekunle, are we together in this class? All right.
Hello, sir.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you
Ah,
now.
I'm trying to unmute myself, but
You
I
can
don't
go
know. It was
ahead.
network.
You can go ahead, please.
Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you now.
Ah, if I could eliminate one threat forever, it could be ransomware.
Ransomware. Why?
Because ransomware is a type of the malware that excretes a victim file and demand a ransom in exchange for discretion key.
Yes, that's the definition of ransomware. So why are you choosing it? Why are you choosing it above every other? I mean, you have the chance to eliminate one. Why are you choosing it above every other one?
Because it's a devastating threat that can cause significant financial losses or destroy critical infrastructure.
All right.
That's the
Yeah,
reason why I
you've,
choose
you've
ransomware.
given your point. I get what you're trying to say, because ransomware can really be devastating. Truly, it can really be annoying, and it can be crumbling. Can be crumbling. All right, let's have the second person. Ajayi Gideon, please go ahead. What threat will you like to eliminate forever?
It will be phishing, sir.
Phishing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Why? Why are you choosing phishing?
Actually, it is because of two things. One is that because phishing is just tricking people into revealing sensitive information. Now, when people are being tricked to receive uh, to get sensitive information from them, it has to do with especially the people that are most vulnerable in this instance are people with emotional problem.
Mm.
people that can't control their emotions. So I see it as taking advantage of their emotions against them.
You are defining fish. You are explaining why you are choosing fishing, but you know that
Yes, sir.
fishing really does not have to do with emotion.
Yes, sir.
Fishing has to do more with awareness, because
Yes, sir.
even when you have stable emotional, stable emotions, you can still
Yes.
unknowingly click on phishing links. Do you
Yes,
understand?
sir.
So it's not really
Yes, sir.
emotional like that. It has to do with technical know and training and awareness. So I want you to rephrase your reason. That's why I just gave that brief.
Okay. Okay, sir. So now the reason why I want it to be eliminated is because in a place like Nigeria now, we don't have enough awareness about cybersecurity, and people don't really take the awareness of cybersecurity serious because of the place we found ourselves. So people still find it difficult to spot when cyber criminals are trying to lure them to get things from them.
Mm.
That's the first reason. Then the second reason is that eventually, if those people are eventually, let me use someone that is working in a company for an example. If peradventure someone like that eventually fall to being a victim of phishing, one, the person is going to lose face in that company. Eventually, either one way or the other, the person might begin to lose the trust that the company has in such an individual, which can lead to stigmatization.
Okay.
That's all, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. That's a good one. Phishing. Somebody said ransomware. Somebody said phishing with good points. Both of them have given us good points. Okay, let's go to the next person. We have Oluwafemi, please go ahead. Oluwafemi Rebecca.
So the cybersecurity threat that I would like to eliminate is insider threats, sir.
Insider threat. Okay, why?
Yeah, yeah, insider threats involves malicious actions by the employee or trusted individuals within the organization or a company. So if there's an insider threat, there's going to be a probability that there's going to be access to sensitive data,
Okay, okay,
and it is going to be difficult to detect in the sense that you might not even think to that side that somebody might be inside the organization. Somebody inside the organization is the one providing sensitive data.
okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's another good point. Very, very good point. Insider threat. You see, this icebreaker is to make you think deep and to make you understand more about the threat. You can see now that we have basically defined three types of threat basically now. So let's go to the next person. Oluwatoni, please. You can attend to the icebreaker. Oluwatoni, are you with us, please?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, go
Can you hear
ahead.
me, sir?
Good evening. You're welcome.
Good evening, sir. I'm looking towards there are devices that necessarily don't have a big interaction with means
Sorry,
or
I don't
software.
get that.
Like I'm just trying. Let me break it down. It may not necessarily be like a term for the threat. Use code or software, but there are some devices that use little devices like all these smart homes now. They are easy to if they can hack them. Say for example, someone hacks into your camera now, the person can be spying on you. The person even be infringing on the privacy. So something like this, those kind of vulnerability with those devices, basically they are IoT devices, Internet of Things that use just normal uh, offline code. actually be if they get into the wrong hands, it can become threats and they can be used for wrong reasons. So I think those kind of devices that use in day-to-day activities, if vulnerability attacks, there is it becomes a threat and it's something I would like to remove or extinguish entirely.
Okay, now I am trying to get what,
I'd like
because
to remove.
your voice was not really clear, it's not loud enough. I had to be straining my hair, and um but if I get what you are trying to say, you are trying to explain something but you don't know the name for it, because except it's a 0 day exploit, there is literally no threat without a name, except it's a 0 day exploit. Now, what is 0 day exploit? Who can define what 0 day exploit is? I taught you in this class. Let's digress a bit. All right. So 0 day exploit is an exploit that has never existed before, that is new to us. Eh, Let me just put it that way for you. It's a threat and a kind of exploit that is new to us. 0 day. We are not prepared for it. We don't have an idea of it before. That is 0 day. So like the one you are trying to explain now, it's not a 0 day. They have a name. Every threat has a name. Every threat. Now, if somebody hacks into your camera, the tools and all, it is still called black hat hacking. Do you understand that now? It is called hacking. Hacking, black hat hacking now, not white hat. Because hacking generally is not the problem. But black hat hacking is a threat. So I really expect that, okay, maybe what you want to explain is black hat hacking. That's what you want to stop, because anything that has to do with jailbreaking or breaking into a system or a device is hacking. Do you understand it now?
Yes, I understand, sir.
All right, great, thank you. So we have the next person, Daramola. So let's attend to this icebreaker. Please, let's make it snappy. Let's make it snappy. Daramola.
So I'd like to talk about
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
so okay, can you hear me, sir?
Okay, yeah,
Hello, sir.
perfectly now.
All right, sir. So I would like to talk about spyware as a threat that I would love it if it could be eliminated forever. So spyware can have that ability to log key you press on your keyboard, and they also have the ability to capture sensitive data or sensitive information online. So, and some of spyware can bond itself with legitimate software. It can bond itself with legitimate software, which allow attackers to gain full control over a system. Or it also um, give attackers the opportunity to receive data. And also this spyware is I think it's you were saying about something.
Daramola, it would be good if you can be more audible. Maybe like get closer to your mic or speak a bit louder.
Yes, and you have caught my attention. Sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Okay. Yes, you are loud now. We can hear you now.
Okay.
I think your network has cut you off, Daramola.
This online. I will capture every of our details. I hope everyone can hear me.
We are finding it difficult to hear you. So
Probably it's my network. Hello, sir.
I'm with
We
you.
can hear you.
All right. So I said spyware has the ability to capture every of our data without our permission. And spyware bond itself with legitimate software. So they can capture every of our sensitive data, and this is as a result of the vulnerability in software system, or is also as a result of it can also come as a result of phishing link. Our instructor told us something last in the last class, yesterday rather. He was talking about Facebook, that there are sometimes that you can just visit Facebook web and just click, you can click on it like that, and it's going to direct you to another page. Though it might appear true, it can appear legitimate that okay, well, probably this is a Facebook web page, but immediately you enter your password and also your number, the spyware is like it operates in the background, so it's going to capture every of that details you entered initially. So you thinking that it's going to take you to Facebook homepage. So it's going to sometimes they have this ability of even taking you to the direct page and capturing that your sensitive data. So spyware is one of the threats I would love to
To
eliminate.
eliminate. All right. Thank you very much. That was great. So your point was gotten. Spyware. Spyware. All right. Let's look at the next person. Oluwa. Oh, I think there's a rearrangement to this thing. Okay. Let's see. We have Olayemi. Yes, Olayemi, please, you can speak. The icebreaker is on the screen. If you could eliminate one cybersecurity threat forever, what would it be? Olayemi, are you with us, please? Olayemi Koforola Temitope. All right, let's move on to the next person. I guess he's not with us. Opeyemi, are you with us? Opeyemi Akoni.
Yes, sir, I'm with you, sir.
All right, so you can go ahead and speak.
Yes, sir. If I could eliminate one cybersecurity threat, I would have choose uh, phishing.
Sorry, come again.
I would have choose phishing.
Fishing.
Phishing, yes.
Okay, yeah. So why? Why fishing?
Because phishing is very minute in the sense that people will not know until they fall into it. And it is very easy for people to enter the trap without knowing. Imagine you saw a message, if not for being a cybersecurity expert, one would have opened the file, as in the message. Opening the message, the attacker has gained an access to the person's secret, as in the person's asset. So it is very easy using phishing to steal people's data. So that's why I would prefer to eliminate phishing.
Fishing. All right. So, thank you, fishing. Okay. Let's hear from Oriowo. Yes, Olayemi, I will come back to you. Let's hear from Finfolu. Please, can you go
Good
ahead?
evening, sir. Yes, I'm here. Good evening, sir.
All right. Good evening.
Okay,
You're
so threat I would like to eliminate was ransomware, but somebody has said it. So I'll choose identity theft.
identity theft. Okay. Okay.
You
Why?
I don't know, that's how I put it. That's when you steal people's identity, maybe their login details, and it is very rampant now to maybe fraud people or to gain their information or to take any information from them.
So if I could eliminate it, it's to save people from financial loss, it will make digital world safe, and no, save people from emotional stress, because by the time you hear one on the other, you want to, listen to it, whereas it is false. So that's one I would like to eliminate.
All right, thank you very much. That's insightful. Identity theft. Uh, identity theft. Identity theft. All right, Olayemi, can you try now? Do you want to try now? Let's see if you're on mute. Okay, so I think Olayemi is having issues with his mic. All right, so no problem, but you can drop it in the chat box. So let's hear from Gabriel. Gabriel, are you with us? Please, if you can hear me, you can unmute your mic. I want to believe I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, no problem. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I think Gabriel and Olayemi are having issues with their mic. So thank you everyone for that opportunity or for that contribution rather. It has really, really, really been great. If you could eliminate one cybersecurity threat forever, what would it be? Every one of you have given valid points, valid reasons. But as your instructor, I have a view, and this is not to compel you to align with my view, but I'm going to present it, and I'll give you reasons, and well, you can compare it with what you have said, and you can still hold on to. I mean, we have individual differences now. All right, so let's see. So now, this is the instructor's view. If I'm going to eliminate a threat, a cybersecurity threat, forever, it's going to be social engineering. And there are two major reasons why I'm going to go for social engineering. Number one, the weakest link, or the weakest link, that's the right word, the weakest loophole in cybersecurity are still human. Humans are the greatest vulnerability. You know why? Because we are emotional. That's what I was trying to differentiate between what someone was saying the other time and this. We are emotional. Humans are emotional. You see, for every other threat, you can set up a tool to stop them. Phishing, when you train people, for phishing, your antivirus, anti-malware can help you out. For ransomware, anti-malware can help you out. For every other threat. But when it comes to social engineering, and the one like it is what I think Rebecca said, insider threat. Those two, they have to deal with human. But I'm going for social engineering, number one, because humans are still the weakest link, and they are still the greatest vulnerability in cybersecurity. There is no tool that can control the emotion of human. And social engineering has to do with emotions. They gain your trust and they exploit it. Are we together now? The second point, the second reason is that social engineering is the most common threat to non-technical individuals, or to novice, or to the public. social engineering is the most common threat. The most common threat. So it really does not have to be security expert or technically service individuals. It deals with people who are not technical. They don't even know anything about cybersecurity. They don't even have any experience. So social engineering is the greatest threat that they experience. So these two reasons are why I'm picking social engineering for every other threat that does not have to do with humans. As long as it is a device you are using, a tool can be set up to defend against it. Are we together now? So that is my point. And with that, we'll be entering into our class for today. Now, our class for today is very, very important because um, most of the things that we'll be learning, there are things that are very, very rampant, things that are very common now. Do you understand? And I want you to take note of this. Today's class is on cloud security. But before we proceed, I want you to understand that cloud security is not something really, really ambiguous. It's not something really, really difficult to understand. One thing about cloud security is that it has to do with taking every security apparatus or measures that we have on site or on ground or physical, taking them to the cloud. Because cloud computing, now let's start from there. What is cloud computing? Yes, I need the response from us. What is cloud computing? Cloud computing. I mean, just try. Just try. Nobody is expecting you to define it perfectly. Just want you to try here. All right, Ajayi Gideon, please go ahead.
I just want to try, so
That is
know that.
just what I said. Just try. Don't worry.
All right, sir. I just, to my own little understanding, cloud computing can just be defined as the connection of servers, connections of servers to store data and resources which can be accessed over the network.
Over the network. Hmm. Okay. You're trying. You're trying. You're trying. But it can still be better. Okay, we have Finfolu, please, you can go ahead.
Okay, so cloud I'll say cloud computing is the ability or access to store data or information over the internet instead of local devices.
Okay.
I
Over the
don't,
internet.
I don't,
Well, over the internet, that's still on the way to. Yes, any other person? We have Oluwatoni. Yes, Oluwatoni, I saw your hand.
Okay, computing from cloud is processing, putting together to arrange something for a better output. So when you do cloud computing is using a facility over the internet, over the cloud to do computing services. And what can we get from the internet? We can get more innovative ways of computing. So if I put together everything, cloud computing would mean you are computing with faster infrastructure and innovation to get better results using the internet.
Thank you very much. That's insightful. All right. Do we still have any other person that want to try? Do we still have any other person that want to try? All right. So briefly, quickly, what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the delivery of computing services, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, and intelligence over the internet. Now, the keywords here is that number one, it is it has to do with delivery of services. It has to do with delivery of services. Now, taking note of this, that it's not just about computing, it's about computing, delivering of computing services, and many other things. Now, what are these computing services that we are talking about? We are talking of storage, we are talking of servers, we are talking of databases, we are talking of networking, we are talking of softwares, talking of intelligence, and every other thing that can be computing. So talking about them, that is the delivering these services over the internet, because as against the traditional method of physically delivering them. So delivering these services over the internet is what we call cloud computing, computing through the cloud, and the cloud is the internet. Is that clear now? Cloud computing is computing over the internet or over the cloud, and your cloud is internet. And I already told you that the cloud is not something in the sky. The cloud is a computer somewhere else. So it is still computing over a computer. The only thing different is that you are accessing it. You are shifting the responsibility to another person. All right. Now, when we now talk of cloud security focus on protecting data and services stored on cloud platform, because cloud computing have different providers. Just like your physical computer has different provider. You have your what's the name? We have you have your MacBook. We have which other system? We have your HP. We have your Toshiba. We have Samsung. Those are providers of physical laptops, physical computer. And for your operating system, we have your Microsoft, we have Linux, we have Apple, which other one? We have a whole lot of them. So these are providers of physical OS. But when it comes to the cloud, computers are provided on the cloud, not physical. And the operating system are provided on the cloud, and every other infrastructure. So the same way there are provider in the physical, there are provider in the cloud. So for example, on the cloud, we have Amazon, we have Google, we have Microsoft, we have Apple. So these are cloud computing providers. So security of cloud or cloud security has to do with protecting data and services that are stored on cloud platforms. All right. So there is what we call a responsibility model on the cloud, because I made mention of something the other time. I said you are shifting the responsibility to another person. But you see, it is not a total shift. It's just a divided shift, unlike physical setup where you will take all the responsibility. You are taking all the responsibility. If anything goes wrong with your system, it is your fault. It is your responsibility to totally provide security for your computer physically. But when it comes to cloud computing, it is a shared responsibility model. And what does that mean? Cloud providers and customers share responsibility for security, meaning that cloud providers, they have their own part of the responsibility of protecting or securing the cloud, and the customers also have their own part to play. So before we go to the service model, let me quickly give you a brief overview of the shared responsibility. So um, for the provider now, on the provider side, for the provider, part of their responsibility, number one, is that the the security of cloud infrastructure. Now, when I mean infrastructure, I mean everything required for that cloud to operate. Talking of your hardware, talking of your software, talking of your OS, talking of your which other thing, of your applications, of your programs, everything that is called infrastructure, they are the responsibility of the cloud provider. So the security of the cloud infrastructure, including hardware, software, networking, and physical facilities, are the responsibilities of the provider, because the database that they are providing for you online over the cloud is stored somewhere physically. So they must protect that thing. The operating system you are using on the cloud is current, it's physically present somewhere. They must protect it, they must secure it. Are we together now? But on the part of the customer, securing the data, number one, managing users, number two, and ensuring proper configurations. These are the three responsibilities of the user or the customer. Number one is what? Securing the data, because the data is at your hand. It's not at the end of the provider. You are the one that has the data with you. So securing that data is important. Number one, managing users, meaning that how many people have access to that platform through you. Then number three, ensuring proper configuration. When you are setting up your platform, it is not the responsibility of the provider to help you set it up. Are we together now? It is your responsibility. So if you don't configure it or set it up properly, the fault is going to come from you. So the cloud security is operating on a shared responsibility model. All right. Now we have cloud service model. Now this is very important for you to know. Cloud service model. That is, what are the model with which cloud services operate? There are three, and you are going to come across these three every time cloud security is being mentioned. Number one, IaaS. It is called, we call it IaaS. That is infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service. I'm going to explain. Number two, we have platform as a service. Then number three, we have software as a service. All right, so let's look at infrastructure as a service. What does it mean? Infrastructure as a service means providing virtualized computing resources. Take note of that word. Computing resources over the internet. So users can rent servers, storage, and networking on demand. So the only thing that is provided for you is the computing resource. I'm going to use an illustration now that you are going to understand. So IaaS, infrastructure as a service, is like you renting a house without anything in it. Are we together now? Renting a house without anything in it. No chair, nothing, nothing. I mean, you just have to take things, you have to bring in things. Nothing is inside. An empty house. So renting an empty house is what is what we can liken infrastructure as a service to. So it means that when you go online and they are providing you the model is infrastructure as a service, what must come to your mind is that you are being given computing resources. So you are renting those resources. All right. Now let's look at the platform as a service. Platform as a service has to do with it offers you a platform that allows you to build, run, and manage applications. So on infrastructure as a service, you cannot build. You can only rent. You rent those things. But on platform as a service, it gives you the platform to be able to build, to be able to develop. It gives you the opportunity to be able to come up with applications. So using the illustration I gave earlier, this platform as a service can be likened to renting a house that is already furnished, like all these what is the name now? Airbnb. All this Airbnb, you can, all the facilities are there. Your AC, the chairs, you can cook, you can prepare your meal, you can do things, you can wash with the washing machine, you can do a whole lot of things. All the facilities are in it. Are we together now? So you can use those facilities as you like. It gives you a platform to build, gives you a platform to develop, gives you a platform to store databases and to create databases now. But when we now come to software as a service, it delivers software applications over the internet. So you are not building anything. So it's like you renting an hotel. That's software as a service. You know, when you go to an hotel, you don't cook. You don't cook. When you go to an hotel, you don't cook. You don't wash. What other thing? I mean, most things you don't do them. You will pay that. Okay, in fact, you don't clean. You don't clean. You're not the one to clean. Once you pay a certain amount, all those things will be inclusive in your package. So you are going to have those things at your call and beckon because you have paid for them. So software as a service is just soft. You know, no, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to develop anything. You don't need to create anything. Just go there, rent it for a while. I mean, pay for it. It's always subscription based. So you subscribe to it maybe for 1 month, and you go. After 1 month, they cut you off. So once you pay for a room in an hotel, after the overnight, you have to go unless you want to renew. That is how software as a service operate. Do you understand now? All right. Let's quickly look at identity and access management. Very, very important part of cybersecurity. Identity and access management. IAM manages access rights and permission for users in the cloud. So identity and access management has to do basically with permissions and access to resources on the cloud. Permissions and access to resources on the cloud. So IAM is the framework that manages digital identities and control their access to resources. IAM ensures that the right individual have access to the right resources at the right time. So I was explaining the cloud security model, I mean the cloud computing model the other time. Now, example of your infrastructure as a service is the AWS EC2. I'm telling you this so that you can research more about it. AWS EC2. Then we have Google Compute. Google Compute Engine. That's an example of infrastructure as a service. But when it comes to platform as a service, we have your AWS Elastic Beanstalk, Google App Engine. You know, Google App Engine, if you have ever used Google App Engine before, it allows you to be able to build app. Then we have the software as a service. Under that, we have the Microsoft 365. I believe every one of us should be familiar with that. Microsoft 365, you know, it's just like you already have your when you have your Microsoft 365, it's like you have your I mean your office, the normal office that your Microsoft office that you used to have on your computer. It's like you have it over the cloud. Do you understand now? So your Microsoft 365, your Salesforce, we have Salesforce. So those are examples of software as a service. So talking about IAM, how or who has access to these things as at when is what IAM is all about. IAM. So who has access to what? This is managed by what? By IAM, Identity and Access Management. All right. So one thing about identity and access management I want you to take note is it ensures that the right individuals have access to the right resources at the right time. Now, what is this all about? You know, you are using the cloud and a whole lot of people are accessing that same cloud at the same time. You are using the cloud and a whole lot of people are accessing the cloud at the same time. So the IAM has to do with managing who is accessing it and what do they have access to. Who is accessing it and what do they have access to. Now, the reason why this framework is put in place is because, you know, I used to tell you that the internet is a public network. The internet is a public network that allows anybody. So if this IAM is not put in place, the cloud will just be, I mean, anybody will just be able to have access to it as at when they want. But you see, when you have IAM in place, it enables us to be able to, or enables cloud provider to be able to filter who is having access to what. So if you are not registered, if you don't have an Apple ID, you cannot go on iCloud now. If you don't have Apple ID register and registration number or maybe the name, you cannot use iCloud. That's an example. All right. So before we go to the best practices of IAM, there are major components that you are going to find on an IAM. There are major components that you are going to find on an IAM. Number one, the users. The users. You know, it's a framework. So it's just like more or less like a document or like a structure that is put in place. So number one, you have the user. Number two, we have the roles. What can they do? Set of permissions that determine what actions users can perform. Then number three, we have policies, the permission for users, groups, and roles. So these are the three components that you have on your identity and access management. So let's look at the best practices for IAM. Number one, best practices for IAM. Number one, least privilege. Like in every other security stuff, least privilege. Then number two, we have role-based access control. Role-based access control. Then number three, we have multi-factor authentication. You have been taught all these ones. Then I can add one more for you. We have IAM auditing. IAM auditing. IAM auditing. IAM auditing. All right. So those are the best practices of IAM, identity and access management. All right. So moving forward, data encryption in the cloud. Now we are going deep into the security of the cloud now. Data encryption in the cloud. Encrypting data in transit and at rest to protect against unauthorized access. So this one, you just do it over the cloud. And most of the facility that you are going to be needing for this, are we together now? Most of the facilities you are going to be needing for this are going to be provided by your cloud provider. So encryption, but now taking it to cloud, because there are two type of encryption that will be needed in the cloud. Number one, encryption at rest. This ensures that data stored in cloud environment is protected. Encryption at rest. Then the second one is encryption in transit. This is ensuring that data or protecting data that are in transit. So as data is moving across network, reducing the risk of interception will require that you use encryption, data encryption. All right. So let's look at encryption key management. Encryption key I have taught you this earlier. Encryption key management, you know that for every encryption, there is always a need for key. There's always a need for key. So when you have access to, when you are encrypting a data or data, you are going to ensure that the key is properly managed, because if your key is compromised, your encryption can be broken. All right. Then we have data backup and recovery. These are the security measures that you can put on your cloud computing. Number one, we have identity access management. We have number two, data encryption. Number three, that we just mentioned now, key management. Then we have data backup and recovery. Every cloud provider, they provide that facility for backup and recovery. You must have noticed that every cloud provider. So you see, the way your data is stored on the cloud is that it is stored in a place and stored in another place and stored in another place. So if attackers compromise one, they will still have access to that same data. I mean, in another place. That is how you are able to recover your data from the cloud all the time. They never fail. You know why? Because data is stored securely in multiple locations or multiple places. So data backup and recovery, regular backing up data and creating recovery plan for cloud environment is very, very important. Then we have, what are the threats to cloud security? Threats to cloud security. Threats to cloud security. Examples of the common threat to cloud that we have, to cloud security that we have, is account hijacking. In fact, that's the most rampant one. Account hijacking. Account hijacking, meaning that they hijack your account just like that. Attackers can take your account, and when they take your account on the cloud, they have access to all your data that is stored on the cloud. Then number two, we have insider threat. Insider Insider threat. Then number three, we have insecure APIs. What are APIs? What are APIs? What are APIs? Yes, I need someone to try.
That's my favorite answer. Alisa,
Yes, someone is speaking. I can't see your hand.
yes.
Okay, I can you hear me? All right, go ahead.
All right, sir. API is Application Programming Interface.
Okay, what does it do? Yes, what does it do, please?
It set definite rules for the. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
It set definite rules that enable different application systems to communicate with each other.
All right. Okay, it's a definite rule. Yeah, Oluwafemi Rebecca, please go ahead. Rebecca, can you unmute your mic? Your hand was up. Oh, okay. The hand is down. Okay, so we have Oluwatoni. Oluwatoni, please go ahead.
You know, okay, API is it's a protocol that can make two apps to communicate with each other. Say for example now somebody wants to get um, his account balance from his app. For the fact that you can click on something, then the information comes out is because of there's an API that can communicate
That can
between
communicate.
that app.
Hmm. Thank you for that illustration. That's a very good
Yes.
illustration for API. That's why you see that every of your applications have API. So when there is an insecure API, one major problem is that your application will be communicating wrongly and your data can be stolen. Your data can be stolen. Okay, so insecure API is one of the major threats to cloud security. One of the major threats to cloud security. Okay, so let's see. Securing API. Securing API. The best practices to secure API include using tokens, encryptions, and strong authentication for API access. A moment, please. All right, please. Sorry for that. I had to quickly attend to that. So, uh, securing API. How do we secure API? Number one is you use tokens. Number two, encryption. When you check your WhatsApp, for those of you that have your phone with you, if you open your WhatsApp and you go to your settings, you just scroll down, go to account. No, is it account now or privacy? When you go to privacy checkup, You will see the details there. Choose who can contact you, control your personal info. Then you can have add more privacy to your chat. Then under that add more privacy to your chat, you will see end-to-end encrypted backups. Did you see that? End-to-end encrypted backups. So meaning that WhatsApp has access to your data. WhatsApp has access to your data, but it is encrypted. Now you will see under it on under your WhatsApp, they will write it there. Encrypt your backup so that nobody, not even Apple or WhatsApp, will be able to access it. So if you turn on end-to-end encryption and you create password, you can uh you can keep your data encrypted without any of them having access to it. Are we together now? All right. So encryption is very, very important. Then strong authentication for API access. Strong authentication for API access. Now you see this one, many of our applications are still lagging in this strong authentication for API access. Is all right. So moving forward, shared responsibility in practice. How does it happen? Example of securing a cloud application by splitting duties between user and provider. I have explained that. I've explained the responsibility that the user will take and the one that providers will take. Now, cloud security tools. There are many tools that your provider, it depends on the provider that you are using, but there are many tools that your provider can make available to you. Example include AWS Shield for DDoS protection. Now, DDoS, what does DDoS mean? What does DDoS mean? I doubt if I mentioned it in this class. And it's one of the examples of the threat, network security threat or threat to network security. DDoS. DDoS. We have DOS, we have DDoS. Yes, Daramola, please go ahead. Daramola, your hand was raised. Okay. We have Oluwafemi, please go ahead. Oluwafemi Rebecca.
Distributed denial of service.
Okay, distributed denial of service. Can you explain it?
I can't explain it, sir.
You can't explain it. Okay. Do we have one to explain? Adekunle, please, can you explain?
Okay, according to what she said, distributed denial of service, because we have DOS, that is denial of service, and a distributed denial of service attack is similar to that DOS,
Okay.
but the origin from the multiple coordinated sources.
Okay.
For example, an attacker built a network.
It's still not. There's something. There's something you. I'm waiting
A
for you to
distributed
actually mention something.
a distributed denial of service service attack is similar to a DOS, that is denial of service attack,
Yeah, you're
but
actually reading
they
from somewhere.
originated from multiple
You say,
coordinated sources.
hold on. You are reading from somewhere. I don't know where, but how did I know you are reading from somewhere? Is you are comparing DDoS to DOS, but you have not even defined what DOS is. All right, so I'm going to explain. Okay, we have a lot of hands up. We have Ajayi Gideon, please. Can you help us out?
Okay. So DDoS is just like an attacker creating bots from different sources, then using targeting it towards a particular, let's say, like server now. So
Okay.
what they will do is that sir.
Continue.
So what they will do is that they will continue to send multiple is it files I will call it now, but the end is just that to overload that system so that that system will crash. I don't know if I really get it.
Yeah, you made a lot of sense. You made a lot of sense with that. I'm going to show us a video that explains DDoS. Yes, but let me hear from Oluwatoni. Oluwatoni, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. In a case where we have so many people trying to log on to a website, we
Okay.
call it traffic.
Okay.
So they are denied the service online. So what it does is that it sends so many traffic to a particular server, knowing that the threshold cannot be. So that traffic will make it to crash. So that's DDoS.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was very, very clear. That's very, very clear. Then we have all right, so all lands are done. So let me show you what DDoS is practically now. I'm going to share my screen now. So just watch. All right. So can you all see my screen, please?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
Yes,
watch
sir.
your screen. Watch your screen very well. All right. Now I'll play it one more time, then I will explain. All right. So let me start with DOS. Denial of service. From the name, denying service. Denial of service is flooding a server with too much of traffic. That's the definition. Flooding a server with too much of traffic. But this time around, when it is DOS, it is coming from a particular source. But DDoS is flooding a server with too much of traffic from multiple sources. Like you can see here, you can see these are users, legitimate users. This is the server. Now they are connected to this server to display. This one is displaying YouTube. But look at those bots now, flooding it with traffic, and that user cannot have access to that server again. So DDoS is flooding a server with too much of traffic to deny legitimate user from accessing the server. That is DDoS. Do you understand that? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right. Thank you. So moving forward, uh, AWS Shield is used to defend against DDoS attack. Then we have other security tools that are provided, a whole lot of them that are provided by your security, cloud provider. They are provided by your cloud provider. We have a lot of them. We have the like this AWS DDoS, then Azure. What's the name of Azure? Oh, give me a moment, please. Azure. I'm trying to remember the name of this facility that Azure gives. Um, yes, Azure backup. Yes, site recovery. Azure backup and site recovery. Azure backup and site recovery. Then Google also gives you yes, the one I want to remember, Azure Key Vault. That's what I want to remember. Azure Key Vault. Azure Key Vault. Then we also have AWS Key Management and many other ones, many other examples of security tools that your cloud providers will give you. So it depends on the cloud provider that you are using. Okay. So we want to look at a case study. A case study. We are going to be looking at a cloud security incident now. A real life cloud security incident now. All right, so pay attention very, very well. Now, the case study we are looking at is Capital One digital breach in 2019. Now, the 2019 Capital One breach exposed personal data of 106 million individuals in the United States and Canada. This breach resulted from misconfigured Amazon Web Services. Did you see that? That's one of the major threats that you have on your cloud security misconfiguration. So this particular case study it resulted from Microsoft, Amazon misconfigured web services, and this misconfigured service was exploited by a former AWS employee, which makes it two threats at the same time. Number one, misconfigured services. Number two, insider threat. Can you see that? Misconfigured services. Number two, insider threat. All right, let's look at it. How did it happen? Number one, cloud misconfiguration. AWS S3 buckets were configured improperly, allowing access to sensitive data stored on the cloud. Now, the firewall settings were too permissive. Now, I was teaching you when I was teaching you firewall that one of the major things about firewall is that it works with rules. Are we together now? It works with rules. So the rules were too permissive. So it enabled unauthorized user to exploit the vulnerability. Then exploitation. How did the exploitation happen? The attacker, Page Thompson, that's the name of the attacker. Page Thompson used a server-side request forgery attack to gain access to metadata and S3 bucket. So server-side request forgery, you can read more about it. So he used it to gain access to metadata and S3 bucket. And how was that easy? Because there was a misconfiguration. Now, SSRF enabled Thompson to retrieve security credentials that allowed further access. Did you see that? So he first of all breached the security, then he extracted security credentials from that database to continue to have more access. Then what are the data that were accessed? Social security number, SSN, credit score, bank account number, and personal details. It was a loud breach. Then number two, 114,000 SSN, 140,000 SSN, 80,000 bank account numbers were compromised. That's a lot. That's a lot. All right. So what are the contributing factors? Number one, misconfigured IAM roles. Can you see that? You remember I told you that IAM consists of user, roles, and policy. So when the role is misconfigured, it gives access, everybody can do anything. So misconfigured IAM role contributed to how that attack was successful. Number two, lack of continuous monitoring. Because if they had been monitoring it, they would have discovered it immediately. So the absence of real-time detection of suspicious activities enabled that attack. Then number three, overly permissive security policies. The attack exploited overly broad firewall configurations. Those are the contributing factors. Okay, what are the impacts? Number one, financial loss. Capital One faced $80 million. $80 million in fines from the United States government. $80 million. That's a lot. Number two, reputational damage. Significant backlash due to perceived negligence. It took Capital One a whole lot of years before they could recover. In fact, they have not recovered fully. Those of you that know Capital One very well, you know that they used to be hot then, but not any longer now. Then legal ramification. A class action lawsuit followed, costing additional millions in settlement. So the $80 million was just for fine. Just for fine, not legal actions now. So they paid $80 million for fine and many $1 million for legal actions and for settlement, because they have to settle their users now. Most of their users' data were exposed. 140,000 SSN. And you know SSN is the soul of every US citizen. It's just like your BVN. A whole lot of things can be done with it. So those are the impacts. What are the lessons learned? Number one, secure cloud configuration. Number one, we must regularly review and update security policies. Take note of that. You must implement least privilege access for IAM roles. Then vulnerability scanning. You must conduct automated scans for misconfiguration in cloud environment. If they had conducted vulnerability scanning, they would have discovered that there is a misconfiguration in their cloud environment. Then monitor and audit. Implement continuous monitoring and alerting systems to detect anomalies in real time. Then we have the SSRF mitigation. Protect against SSRF attacks by restricting access to sensitive resources and implementing input validation. SSRF actually targets security policies or security resources. It targets security resources. So when it breach the security resource, it will now further extract security documentation or facilities to breach other resources. So those are the lessons we learned from that case study. What are the prevention best practices? Use security tools. I mean, now this is not about the case study now. Generally now, use security tools like AWS config, guard duty, and CloudTrail for logging and monitoring. Adopt zero trust. I have taught you this before. Zero trust. Don't trust anything at a go. You must apply strict access control and network segmentation. Don't trust anything. Don't trust any device. Then regular penetration testing, important, very, very important. Simulate attack to uncover vulnerabilities like the one we did in our last class. Then employee training. This is important. Educate employee on secure cloud practices. Now, by addressing misconfiguration and implementing stricter cloud security controls, similar breaches like the one we just explained can be prevented. The Capital One breach serves as a cautionary tale for organizations leveraging cloud infrastructure. You see, after that Capital One breach, every other cloud provider they caution themselves. Everybody, every one of them caution themselves. Every one of them. All right. So reflection. Let's discuss what is the importance of encryption and access control in cloud security. What is the importance of encryption and access control in cloud security? Yes, please let's do that quickly. Yes, Oluwatoni, go ahead.
To enhance data protection and to prevent any form of breaching.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that. Yes, any other person want to try or give us another idea? Yes, Ajayi Gideon, go ahead.
To limit access to data and resources.
Sorry,
I
come
said to
again.
limit, one of the importance is to limit access to data and resources.
Okay, to limit access to data and resources. Okay, let's have one more person. One more person, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes. Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. To make sure that data transmission is secure.
Sorry, come again, please.
In order to make sure that data transmission is secure through the internet.
Yeah, to secure data in transit, to secure data in transit, to secure data in transit. Thank you for that. So let's look at our quiz. What is the shared responsibility model? Shared responsibility model. Explain it in your own understanding. No, I don't want Ajayi Gideon again. I'm going to call names. There are a lot of people here that are not speaking today. You are not saying anything. We have let's see, Opeyemi, not you again. You just spoke. We have Stephen. We have Kolawole. You have not spoken today. We have Claudius. You have not spoken today. We have Ayanshina. You have not spoken. Yes, among the four people I just mentioned, any one of you can take it up. All right. Since none of them is speaking, Oluwafemi Rebecca, you can go ahead.
We have cloud provider.
Okay.
It is used for securing of cloud infrastructures. And we
Okay.
also have user or customer for securing data, managing users, and ensuring proper configuration.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Um, Number two, name one cloud service model. We have three. So name one and explain it. Yes, Tony, please go ahead. Tony, I saw your hand. All right, Tony is not speaking. Opeyemi, you
Okay,
can
sir.
go ahead.
All right, sir. Yeah, I'm with you, sir.
Oh, okay.
So,
Tony, you are with
we
us. Go ahead.
okay, infrastructure as a service model.
Okay.
And if I'm going to explain that, this is like a you are trying to say for let me give an example. I think I would be able to explain better. Say for example, now you have a database now that is available. So that database is available for everybody, and that database is infrastructure. So that's how I understand the cloud service model.
Okay, that's infrastructure as a service, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. Yes, Opeyemi, you can go ahead.
Okay, we have platform as a service.
Platform as a service, okay.
Hello, sir.
Explain.
Yes. Platform as a service. In this situation, a complete platform is provided, whereby the platform is provided for developing, running, and managing the application, including the tools, library. It is like booking and hotel, as we explained earlier. Now, when you book an hotel, you don't need to carry anything there. You don't need to cook. You don't need to get a washing machine. Everything needed is provided there. So that is like the same as a platform as a service.
Hmm. Booking an hotel that I gave you as an example actually explains software as a service. What you just explained now is software as a service. There's something about platform as a service. Yes, we want to help us out. Yes, anybody, please. I mean, I explained this in the class. Ajay Gideon, thank you. Help us.
Yes, platform as a service provides platform to build and manage infrastructures.
That's the word. It provides platform to build, develop, and manage um, applications. Applications now. Applications. All right. So let's see. We have shared responsibility means both provider and customer handle security. Both customers and provider handles security. And for the models, like we have all explained, we have the software as a service, we have the platform as a service, we have the infrastructure as a service. You can read more about them because cloud security itself is a broad topic. You understand now? All right, thank you very much. And that's how we'll come to the end of today's class. But before we go, um, it's time for question and answer, please. Do you have any question? Let me know. Kindly take note that today is the last class that we are going to be meeting. So Ask your questions now. Ajayi Gideon, please go ahead. I think you're having a network issue from your end, Ajayi Gideon. You can mute your mic. Um, let's see if the network will come up. Let Adekunle speak. Adekunle, yes, your hand is up and you have been given the chance to speak.
Okay, sir. Okay, I didn't know. Please, I need more explanations on that shared responsibility, and if I would like if you can um go to that slide that explain details on that shared responsibility, sir.
Shared responsibility.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here. Now, this is the slide. Shared responsibility model
Okay,
means
sir.
that provider and customer share responsibility for security. Let me explain. Do you use an iPhone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So you understand what iCloud means.
Yes, I understand.
All right. You know that when you want to log into your data is stored on the iCloud.
Yes, sir.
So if you lose your phone and you log in your iCloud details in a new phone, you are going to get all those details, right?
Yes, sir.
So you see, during the period of you losing your phone and the period of recovering those data from your iCloud from your cloud provider, your data is with them. Do you understand that? And the fact that
Yes, sir.
your data is with them, they have to protect it. It is stored somewhere. So that's the provider's part of the responsibility. They take care of data in transit and data at rest. It's their responsibility. Your data is stored. Everything on your iPhone is on the iCloud. I mean, as for those one, if you give access, so everything, if you give access, everything's on the even if you don't give access, there are some that are still on the iCloud. So they have the responsibility to protect that data. For example, now on my phone, I'm using as an example now. Let's say I'm a US citizen, and on my phone, because I don't want to forget my SSN number, my social security number, which is the most important number as a US citizen. So I now save it on my phone, on my contact list. Now automatically on my iPhone, that SSN is already on the iCloud. So that data is on the cloud. If I lose my phone is passworded and it has other
Okay.
authentication method. So they can't break into it. They can only sell it in crap. You understand? But that data is with Apple. So they must protect it, because if they don't protect it, anybody that has access to that data will be able to use my SSN against me. So it is the responsibility of the provider, meaning Apple now in this case, to provide security for that data at rest with them. Then during the sending of data, when you are sending from iPhone, for example, if you use iMessage, data that you are sending from one iMessage to the another iMessage, it must be protected by iCloud provider, which is Apple. But when it comes to the customer side of this responsibility, when you are setting up your iCloud, the request for an email, if you put the wrong email, that is misconfiguration, because it means that the person that owns that wrong email will have access to your data. I don't know if you understand this. So it is your own. You don't
Yes,
expect Apple to come and help you put in your email. So they have their own responsibility. You have your own responsibility. That is why it is called shared responsibility model. Do you understand?
yes, sir.
Very well. Okay, great.
Pertains to that sense, software as a service. Please, I need more explanation on that.
Software as a service. Now, it
SaaS,
delivers
yes.
software applications over. Okay, let me use this illustration. You have on your system now. Are we together? When you buy a new
Yes, sir.
system, If you buy a new system and you put operating system on it, OS, Windows, then you now put your Office 16 or Office 12, Microsoft Office 12 on it. They load it, they put everything, they put CorelDRAW, they put which other one now? Microsoft Office, they put VLC for you to watch video, they put everything there. That is software as a service in the physical. Now it doesn't exist in the physical setup, but I'm trying to give an illustration. Now that is, take that thing now, this illustration I just gave now, take it to the cloud. Take it to the cloud. That is software as a service. So on the cloud, there is what we have Microsoft 365. Microsoft 365 gives you the opportunity to be, you have Microsoft Word on it. You have which other one now? You have all the Microsoft stuffs that you can have in the Microsoft Office. You have them on the Microsoft 365. So you are not building a new application. You are not building anything. Yours is just to get there, begin to use them. You want to type, use your Microsoft Word. You want to create Excel, use it. You want to create PowerPoint, use it. That is software as a service. But when you are using platform as a service, you will be the one to develop your Microsoft. Uh, you won't call it Microsoft because Microsoft is not the one developing it. You will be the one to develop your text editor, your Word, your writer, the application you are going to use to create your design. You are the one to create it. It will give you the platform to create that application, but it will not give you that application specifically. That is platform as a service. But software as a service will give you everything you need. Just get there and continue to use. That's why I use an hotel as an example. They will give you towel. You don't even need to take towel. They'll give you towel. Some hotel will give you a new toothbrush. They will give you toothpaste. They'll give you soap. They don't want you to come with anything, just your clothes. So you can log into an hotel. You can travel down to a place without holding anything, with your phone, and you log into a hotel and you will check out conveniently. You know why? You can get there, you order food, you pay for it, you order food, you you don't even need to take away the plate. You don't need to take away the used plate. They will come and pack it. You don't need to sweep. You don't need to clean the room. You don't need to buy toothpaste or anything. Everything is intact. Just get there and begin to use. That is software as a service. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. So, do we have any other question from any other angle? Yes, Ajay Gideon, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I actually watched a scenario in a movie, and I want to ask how true it is, sir,
Okay.
about some security experts working on a server. Now, before they could make security configuration to the server,
Okay.
they couldn't do it remotely. They had to go to the physical location of the server.
Okay.
Now, my question now is that what can we call that type of security?
All right. Yeah. What we can call that is the normal security that you have. But this is it. Attackers or infrastructures like that, they are called closed network or private network. That's what we call private network, meaning that you can't access it from the internet. It is called private network. You cannot access it from the internet. Many of these organizations, top organizations, they use things like this. So you can't access any of their facility infrastructure from the internet. You want to make any change, make any configuration, you must go to the physical location. Now, this is a very, very secured form of protection, or of a very, very secured measure. But it has its own downside. And one of it is that you are too monotonous. Let me use another word. That system is too uh, is prone to physical attack. What that means is that where your infrastructure is, if they burn it down, that's all. Nothing anywhere, no backup anywhere. But overtly, it's a very good security measure that
Okay,
can be
that
put in
was
place as long as you are securing your perimeter. It's a good security measure. So that way, nobody can access. So attackers will not be able to even they can't access your resources on the internet. You know, attackers have to have access to your resources from the internet before they can attack you. This one is a private network. In fact, most of this kind of organization they don't use Wi-Fi, they don't use wireless, they use wired, they use cables. They use cables. So do you get it now? So it's very possible and it's very common. It's very common. Do you understand it now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes. Any other question? I want us to round up the class now. Okay. You still like to ask another one? You can go ahead.
Yes, sir. But my second question is based on encryption, sir.
Encryption. All right. Go ahead.
I heard about one type of encryption, and they gave me a little explanation, but I couldn't get it. I don't know how realistic it is. They call this spiral encryption.
Spiral. Where did you hear it from?
It was a cybersecurity movie, sir.
Okay. Well, how do I want to break it down for you. Did you do mathematics in school?
Yes, sir.
And did you do anything around matrix?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you know how matrix work, that's what spiral encryption uses. If you know how matrix work, that's what spiral encryption uses. So they just arrange your that data they want to encrypt, the plain text. They just arrange it in a spiral way. I mean, in a the way they used to do matrix. If you have done matrix before, the way matrix has an arrangement. You have the row, you have the column, you have
Yes,
like a
sir.
table. You should remember matrix table from your is it calculus now or from your logic if you did computer science in school. So that
Yes, sir.
that arrangement, that is how they will arrange your plain text. But you see, that arrangement is not something regular because it is, matrix takes calculation before you can decipher it. So that's spiral encryption. That's how it works. They use matrix. They arrange your plain text using matrix. They use matrix. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
So you can read more about it. You can read more about it. But I've just
I
explained
still
it
want to ask.
physically now.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I just
I
need.
still want to ask a little, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Now, I want to speak in relating to that spiral encryption. Is it
Okay,
also the same way that people encrypt files in, like, let me say, digital images?
digital
Like
image.
they hide, yes,
You are saying like the what?
like they will add a form of encryption in a plain image that it will only take a great decryption to decrypt it.
All right. You see, digital encryption. I mean, image encryption. There are a lot of ways you can encrypt image. A lot of ways, but it depends on which one you want to go for. For example, now you know that every image has what we call pixel value. Now, if
Yes,
pixel
sir.
value can be encrypted, how the pixel value will be transformed. So it's the pixel value that will be encrypted. And there are a lot of encryption types. I have taught you some that you can use to encrypt the pixel value. Like the AES now, you can use the advanced encryption standard to encrypt pixel value. Then you can also use key-based encryption for your image. When I was teaching you cyber chef does not only encrypt file, I mean text, it can encrypt image. You can see that there's an option of uploading there. So it can encrypt image too. You can upload image and encrypt it, and you will not be able to decrypt it until you have the key. You won't be able to view it. So either way, you can use any of these ones to encrypt your image. Either you use the pixel value, or you encrypt the image directly using. And CyberChef is not the only encrypting tool that we have. There are a whole lot of them, many more. You understand? And it only depends on which one you have trusted that you want to use. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Yes, Adekunle, please go ahead.
Okay, sir. My question goes like this: that in what aspect can we identify a trusted website to log into to
In
afford
what?
viruses? Or in what aspects can we identify a trusted website to log into in order to afford viruses?
Hmm. Well, I
I
believe
know
that.
you thought you make mention when we are I could maybe it was 2 weeks ago. You said something about HTTPS that anyone that didn't carry S. Okay, if that one is there any other any other things we can check apart from that HTTPS?
Okay, yes, that is correct. I already taught you HTTPS. There are many other ways. Another
Okay,
way
sir.
is regular scanning.
Okay.
Regular scanning. Scan the URL. I gave you one. There are many, but I gave you one. I gave you what's the name now?
Check.
Virus Total. I gave you Virus Total. You can also use URL scan.io. There are many tools you can use. You see, all these tools are available online. You can use them. Scan the link, scan the URL. Then number three, make sure it's from a trusted domain. Those
Okay.
are the things. When you see a website that is using bit.ly, suspect it. Why are you shortening your your URL as a website? Do you understand now? So
Yes,
those
sir.
are the ways you put those things in practice. Make sure you scan the link, the URL, before you go ahead with it. Scan it. That's why you're a security professional. You don't click everything. Then another one, which is major, using secured environment. What does that mean? Using a virtual machine. Very, very important. Because if your virtual machine crash, you can just delete and start a new one. But if your system crash, for example, now if you're using a virtual machine and you click a if you're using a virtual machine and you click a link that is meant to put you under ransomware, the ransomware will only affect the virtual machine. So once you delete the virtual machine, everything there is gone. So the attacker is just wasting his time. So using secure environment is very, very important. Yes, I think I've answered your question very well, please.
Exactly, sir.
All right, thank you.
Sir,
Yes, I
sir,
believe
please,
we
I'm
can
trying to.
bring it to. Do you have another question?
No, I'm just trying to. I'm going through what you have taught us about checking the introduction of data protection, introduction of web security, web application security, and introduction. That's the last one that we are doing now, and the network security. I'm trying to remember most of things that maybe you started with us.
Yeah, you can
You
you
said
can
it
read
yesterday,
more
but I
about
was
them. You
trying to
see,
write it down.
learning will not stop. Learning doesn't stop.
Okay.
So you have to read more, and I'll be expecting many of you that would like to proceed with this training, that would like to take this as a career. I'll be expecting you in the 3-month training. It's going